All right, I'm the Flat Rate Master, and today we're talking about choosing wrenches. I know, fascinating topic, but it's something worth talking about. Now, a while ago, I did a wrench strength test, a 3-part series. Don't go watch it. I'm not going to link it. Basically, I broke an SK completely, a Craftsman off camera completely. Most of the wrenches that are rebrands from Taiwan did okay. The Snap-on did okay. Most of them did fine. So for the most part, choosing a wrench isn't going to be about strength. It's going to be about feeling the hand. Now I got a big boy here of the old school Craftsman. Now these were my go-tos for a number of years until I lost a 10mm and bought Snap-on and haven't looked back. Now the bigger wrenches, I'm less concerned about buying the Snap-ons after I get out of the alignment area, 22, 24, 21s. I basically buy less expensive wrenches because you're really not going to, round over a 32mm. But anyway, when it comes to choosing wrenches, obviously you want a quality wrench, but that's just where it starts. A lot of people complained about the old school Craftsman, the old raised panel like this one, hurting in your hand. And I don't know, I've got big chunky hands and they didn't really hurt that much. I've heard the same complaint about Snap-on, but that's the point. You need to have it in your hand. You need to actually use a wrench. If nothing else, whoever you're going to buy a wrench from or whoever you're thinking about buying a wrench, buy a common size, just one wrench, and use it. Put it in your hand. Before you spend the money and buy a complete set, just buy one wrench. They're not that expensive, and use it. Get it in your hand. If you're using a wrench, chances are you're in a spot where you really can't use a long pry bar. You're using your meat and you're pushing on it. You're pushing on it hard. You definitely want to have it in your hand and try it out, because what works for me may not work for you. It may hurt your hand. It may be uncomfortable. You may not like how it feels. Wrenches are the second most personal tools that we're going to ever own, next to ratchets. I did a video last week on ratchets, so don't let me or anybody else tell you, you need to buy a Snap-on, you need to buy XYZ. Don't listen to them. Put it in your hand and actually use it. Because for me, this doesn't hurt. For you, it might. You might prefer, the Mac Precision Torque. I grabbed all the big wrenches because they look good on camera. But you may like the feel of this wrench a lot better. You might like the different offset a lot better, or you might not. You might hate XYZ wrench. You might pull out a Snap-on, you might start using it and hate it and go back to, Cobalt or gear wrench or whatever. You need to put the wrenches in your hand and use them. There is no other substitute. As much as I'd love to say, oh, go buy these Cornwells, it's hard to do that because, quite frankly, you need to have them in your hand. Your hand is what is going to determine whether or not you like them. How you use wrenches also dictates your comfort. Like if you're the double wrench method where you link two wrenches together and use it as a really long wrench, if you do that constantly, you probably don't really care about how the wrench feels in your hand. I almost never do that. I don't work out, but I'm really car strong. So it's pretty rare for me not be able to take a standard wrench on your average bolt and just wrench it over. I'm not bragging, it's just how I work. If you don't like to work that hard, or you're not that strong, or etc., and you primarily use the double wrench method, well, you're more concerned about how well it works on the double wrench method, right? You got to get the wrench in your hand and try it out. There is just no substitute for it. Like I said, buy one wrench. They're not, yeah, Snap-on's kind of expensive, but if you buy like a Snap-on set and you only buy one wrench to try out, most dealers are going to credit you back for the 17 millimeter as a return, and you just keep your used one. He gets his new wrench back to replace his inventory. Everybody's happy, and you got to try a wrench out before buying a, especially like Snap-on and the tool truck wrenches. They're really expensive, and you really do want to try them out. So one of the nice things about the tool trucks, as much as people complain about them, you get to feel, you get to touch. You can't do that on the internet. You have to buy them. If you don't like them, you got to return them. You don't like them, give them back to the tool man. Pay more for them, and that's up to you. When you look at a wrench, don't care about the shiny. Like I said, the shiniest wrench I tested in those videos was an SK, and a chunk of it was never seen again. Luckily, it didn't damage the car that was next to me, but it went flying. So shiny chrome don't matter. It's the wrench itself. So you definitely want it in your hand. Try it out. When it comes down to it, nobody cares about the brand that's written on it. What you care about is how well it works for you. If they say you're a hack for not having Snap-on wrenches, you don't need that kind of negativity in your life. Get the wrench that fits you. As always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.